All right, but we got to bring that up too. We have, if you head out here to the track tomorrow and you're a TVG account holder and you sign up with an account, you can get one of those as well. And I have one here right for you too. I'm keeping this one, so you can't have this. But we have, I think, how many are we giving these away, Simon?
I think 5,000 of these, and if you turn them on the back, you're lucky enough to see the selections from most of our
so you get
analysts.
More
if you look right here, Simon. You have Simon Bray not picking Zenyatta right there, right there.
All right, so come out and take advantage of that, Quinn. We wish you the best of luck, and we hope it works out for you.
Thank you. Appreciate
best of luck, Quinn.
And don't let your brother tell you what to bet.
That's right.
All right, if you sign up with TVG, you have the chance like that to win $10,000 and put it down on a bet at the Breeders' Cup. So take advantage of it. Sign up, and right now we have this going for you too. Bet 50, get 50. Sign up for a TVG account, and you receive $50 in your account after you wager that initial 50. All account holders, of course, must be over 21 years of age. We're going to get back to the Classic, of course, but we're going to go race by race through Saturday. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Arcadia, California, and the Breeders' Cup preview show here on TVG. Greg Wolf, Simon Bray, Paul LaDuca, and Tom Amos. We missed you. Good to have you on board.
We had a pretty good replacement there, and we had another Louisiana boy, and I wish him the best of luck tomorrow. I got a feeling he's going to do it.
Such homers, those Saints fans, man. Such homers.
I don't even know if I'd want that. Honestly, I would be so nervous with that kind of a chance with all that money.
That's a big call today to back off. I mean, he was in the truck, and he wanted an ISO of, you know, he wanted to see how she was galloping, how Ventura was galloping, and like 3 minutes to post, he said, nah.
It's like laying off a fastball on a full count.
He made a good call. You got to give him credit. He made a good call. I think going into today, he was going to put that 10,000 on Ventura, and I think if she doesn't open at 1 to 5 or 1 to 2, what she did, he would have betted on her. I think
good hold. All right, we're going to move along. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf gets us started on the Saturday program here on day 2 of these championships as we take a look at the field and the morning line. A mile on the turf in here. Quite a few Europeans, Simon, in this group, but Interactive so far, last couple of starts, 2 Grade 3 wins, and he looks like a very strong favorite.
Very visually impressive last time out in the Bourbon. Scored a great sheet number if you're a sheet player. And Interactive gets the outside post today. Shouldn't be a problem with the trip we've seen last time. He's installed at 4-1 on the morning line. And then there's Viscount Nelson for Aidan O'Brien. He's finished second in this race 2 years in a row with Ackle Island and Westphalia. Needs to go one better here with Viscount Nelson.
Of the Europeans, there's quite a few in this group. Viscount Nelson, obviously it's Aidan O'Brien. Anytime it's Aidan O'Brien, young horses, Paul, you got to look there. How strong, though, do you think the American contingent is compared to the European contingent?
Well, I think Interactive is the best chance that we have on the turf tomorrow for the Americans. That race he ran last time in the Bourbon was unreal. He was 4 or 5 wide and just circled the field. I think Kent DeSormo just thought, I got the best horse, I'm going to steer out of trouble. But I think he's running into a deeper field. I think Viscount Nelson and also Pounce. And the reason why I think the Europeans got a better shot tomorrow, if you saw the turf course today, it was you had to be close to the pace. And Viscount Nelson and Pounce both got some early speed. I talked to a couple European guys earlier, and they had told me Pounce might be on the lead. He's got that much speed, so I think it might play a little bit in the Europeans' hands where Interactive might have to circle, and that wasn't the move you wanted to make on the turf today. You agree with that, Tom?
Well, you know, we talked about it right after the races, and certainly the turf was very fast today, played towards the front end to some extent, and, you know, that doesn't play the Europeans, period. Yes, they may have tactical speed over there, but speed over here is a different commodity. Those horses are not going to be that close early. They'll be in the second wave of horses.
Well, let's bring in Tony Calvin now, the head of media for Betfair. Tony joins us from the winner's circle. And, Tony, what about this European contingent, starting with Viscount Nelson?
Viscount Nelson, excellent second in the Champagne Stakes in September. Aidan O'Brien deliberately backed off then and targeted this race. So he's coming to this race a fresh horse, unlike maybe Beethoven later on in the card, who was a surprise winner in the Dewhurst. This horse has been targeted at this race.
What about Pounced? I think it's an interesting, lightly raced 2-year-old trained by John Garsden, who won this race last year with Donna Tevam. Gets Frankie Dettori aboard. I like that second place finish last out in the Jean-Luc Lagardère Arc Weekend. What are your thoughts on Pounced, Graham?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got a decent chance there. I think it's training around. It's actually disputing favouritism in England around about a 9-2 chance. It was a very impressive Newbury maiden winner. Stepped up to Group Company last time. Didn't disgrace itself, finishing second in the Lagardère with Buzzword behind. So an improving horse. You know, I think it's got plenty to find, maybe with a couple of these, but it's up there on the time form ratings.
Now, Pounce among the Europeans, the lowest on the morning line. He's at 9-2. Let's talk about Interactive. No real heavy favorite in this race. I mean, he's the 4-1 favorite on the morning line. Talk about his last couple of races, Simon. I mean, there's no doubt he's the one to beat in this group. How much did he impress you at Keeneland?
He was very, very visually impressive. I mean, I was impressed with his race up at Saratoga. You and I were there for that when he paid $15 and the with anticipation stakes. But Tom, I know you were there at Keeneland. You saw this race as well. I'll bring you into the mix here because there's a couple of horses coming out of this race. Kodoy as well, who had a wide trip and came from far back, but the widest trip of all was by Interactive.
And an unusual trip, Simon, because when he broke from the gate, he didn't have to be in the position he was in, but Kent did indeed take him all the way back and then choose to go around horses. So, I mean, I don't really think he had a great trip. I think he was just that much the best on this particular day. I think you'll see a better trip from him here. He'll be positioned better. The Americans' hope rides with Interactive.
What do you think? 4-1? Is he going to drift down from that number?
I think you're going to get 9-5 on this horse. I think that he was that visually impressive. And if you're a sheet player, the sheet number that he got is absolutely phenomenal. But I agree with Tom. I think he has to get a little bit better trip. I don't think he can steer out and go 5 or 6 or 7 wide like he did and win this type of race, especially on this turf course. But I agree. He is definitely the horse to beat in this race.
Let's bring Tony back in now. Tony, we talked about some of the stronger contenders for the Europeans. What about some of these big price horses like Awesome Act, King Ledley? They're both 20-1 on the morning line. Do they have any kind of shot?
Yeah, King Ledley's used to be with Kevin Prendergast in Ireland. It's got decent place form in a lot of the decent Irish group races there, but without really hitting the mark there. Awesome Act is very, very interesting. His Goodwood Maiden win, it beat a subsequent group winner called Marana. He travelled really well in the Dewhurst last time. Didn't find a lot as expected though, but perhaps his sharper track could bring out the best in, but a horse with definite potential.
Well, if you like Awesome Act, who was 9th, beaten 7 lengths in the Dewhurst, can you like Buzzword, Tony? I know he's got a bad draw post 12, but the Europeans historically break very slow. Maybe Ahmed Ashtabi can get this one to the rail. After all, he was only beaten 2 lengths in the aforementioned Dewhurst. Has he got a shot?
Definitely. He actually beat the Lagardère winner, CME early in the season, so it's got the form there. It's been placed in a couple of group races since, including in the Dewhurst last time. He's got definite chances. When you look at the price differential, this horse is trading at 11-1 in England, as opposed to Pounce at 9-2 and Viscount Nelson at a similar price, so over twice the price, and it's only £2 off on time form ratings as well. Buzzword has got a definite chance.
All right, so it sounds like it's a very wide open group. Tom, we'll start with you. Betting strategy for the juvenile turf.
Well, I think the juvenile turf betting strategy, it starts with Interactive, the 11 horse. But when you look specifically at that race, the Bourbon, I think that is a key race. Both Interactive and Kodoy, the 3 horse, are a couple of horses that came out of the race. They ran 1-2. They showed the same style of running in the Bourbon that day. I want to take a couple of shots of Bourbon in this race here.
Bartender?
That's the 11 Interactive and the 3 Kodoy. Look, you got 2 money riders on these horses. Those would include DeZormo and Interactive and Gomez on Kodoy. When the money's down, they ride big, and it's wide open for the 3rd spot. So take those 2 horses and put the rest of the field behind them in your exotic wagering. I think that works well.
Well, Paul, I asked you what I thought about Interactive. We're going to actually skip you, go to Simon. We'll get back to you, Paul. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Simon, what do you think? Interactive, where are you going to start as well?
Bartender, give me another one, please, because it's all about Interactive out of that Bourbon race. I think he's the best turf colt here in North America, and I don't see a whole lot from the Europeans this year to suggest that they could really crush him. This is a very, very good horse who's been dying to go a distance of ground, and when he's done it, he has been very visually impressive in both starts. He's overcome trouble. He's learned a lot for a young horse. Go back to the bar and order another one.
Wow.
Is it going to be a trifecta sweep here?
No, I'm going to go with Pounce and Frankie Dettori. I just think that this horse has got a huge upside. Only 3 starts. Listen, Interactive is definitely the horse to beat. I'm going with more of a price here. Maybe we'll get 7-2, 9-2. And with that kind of speed, maybe on this turf track, I think he'll take to the North America here, being out of Rahi and John Gosden, an unbelievable trainer, and Frankie Dettori will do the leap with his 2 shots of bourbon when he's done in the winner's circle.
Paul going across the pond. I'm really surprised by that.
Europeans began Friday with a victory, and Paulie thinks they're going to begin Saturday with a victory as well.